And to talk more on this, we have with us DW's political correspondent, Thomas Sparrow, joining us now from Berlin. Good to have you, Thomas. First of all, what led Hungary to finally approve Sweden's NATO bid?
This is the end of a very long process for Sweden, and not only for Sweden, also for Finland, two countries that for a very long time had vowed neutrality. And obviously that neutrality changed as a result of the war in Ukraine, as a result of Russia's invasion in February 2022. And it was after that that both Sweden and Finland announced that they would try and join NATO. And the fact that Hungary this week, only a few days ago, accepted finally that Sweden can become a member of NATO is, as I stress, the end of a very long process for Sweden and a very important process as well. What led to that decision by Hungary? There have been a lot of analysis pointing to the fact that in the past, Hungary and Sweden had had a diplomatic standoff, that there had been disagreements on a bilateral political level. And it's important to stress that the Swedish Prime Minister actually went to Budapest, met personally with the Hungarian government, signed an arms deal. And it was after this deal, after this personal meeting, that Hungary announced that it would finally support Sweden's accession process. It's the last part before Sweden can actually become a full-fledged member of the NATO alliance.
Thomas, with Finland and Sweden's entry into NATO now, what does this expansion mean for Europe?
You mentioned already one of the main elements: simplifying planning, strengthening the northern border. These are all elements that for NATO are particularly important at a time when in Europe there is considerable security threats, at a time when the war in Ukraine does not show any signs of stopping, at a time when it is particularly important for NATO to show strength. And the fact that now it can count not only with the partners that have been there for a long time, but also with Finland and with Sweden is certainly an important development for the alliance. And it's also, by the way, an important development in times when there's a lot of discussion as to what these partners need to do to step up help towards Ukraine. So from the perspective, definitely, of NATO, from the perspective of NATO members, from the perspective of the countries that form part of this alliance, this is certainly a welcome news. It is certainly a welcome development.
Thank you, Thomas. Thomas Sparrow joining us from DW Berlin. You're with us on DD India Global, still to come on the show.